does not play.
It's not real popular.
Keep this, vacation stuff because he really liked doing the training stuff. But and he's doing it for the pediatric residents.
My thought.
Yeah, that's something you can't wear with dress like dressed up. What is it? He calls butterflies. He calls like all insects bees. But yes, no, the story continues to be, it's not 3 children, it's the 2-year-old.
I worked with state government.
And yes, when I was a 2-year-old, like with a baby in my
Stayed
arms.
here
But
because we wanted to have kids.
it's just the 2-year-old.
Now they're 35 and 28.
Did they stick around or did they go off?
One is in Chicago after living.
See what kind of
Well, and the other one's in
Tommy's ovals too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've even. I don't
I'm sorry. I don't like. There's a lot of weird sounding.
there are. Ossia, you probably.
I did hear Oscar. That's right.
It's pretty close to Ossia.
That's nice too. I suppose we have to have someone far away. That's nice.
Well, we went and visited them.
Did I put you in my good bite?
You did.
I had a ticket in there. I wrote like when I graduated college in '06, and I didn't even notice.
Oh, I thought you were like high school
graduation.
graduation. But you, yeah, class of 06. Yeah, when you look back in time, I feel like, yeah, the year that we graduated high school was like uttered a lot more than the year we graduated college. How would you just say like what year you're in? Yeah. Environmental thing. You do like the
What does this blue cheese taste like? That's
We'll try it.
Yeah,
And the other ones are fun. I did an internship there a long time ago, so I could spend the summer doing it. It was amazing. He visited me for more training. We could go on a train and go to a different city every weekend, or even a different country.
My son was in
as I said, yeah.
because that's where this astronomy is.
I guess they have to be, right, if you want to see the stars.
Yeah. It was radio.
Oh, radio astronomy.
Hello.
I get that. And it was,
I'm Laura.
David.
no, it was
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Are you from Florida? Did I hear that?
I am. Are you too?
Yes.
No, my parents lived there for many years.
Many people's parents for me. My parents actively lived there.
Are you here? Oh, they're in Delray.
Yeah, it was kind of.
That's where their best years of their life were there. That's where they wanted to be buried, and that's where they are.
Oh, it's kind of far away.
Yeah. But that's all right. They were here in Madison for a while.
I was hearing that you had a long career here.
You know, it's all right. Yeah.
I'm
afraid to move because she's like
Recently, we came last fall, but then we said it. Yeah, and we just built a home, so we're trying to get that done. Thank you.
I am Paul.
Understatement.
My brother's name?
Theo's just getting exhausted. And like,
Right next to the AV Maven here.
Yeah, I like that. We encourage the community to
you're fine.
your live stream.
Henry did.
So this is right where they're experiencing I don't trust her to know
Grab your bag with the shirt.
Thank you.
Required equipment.
How are you liking Madison?
What?
It'll protect you from the sun too.
True.
It's what?
Such speed. Such speed. I love how funny he is.
He died. He was only right now. Right now. What happened to your rocket ship? In your little pocket? He doesn't have a rocket ship.
I saw you at
I like that. Grandma's dad. I used to alive. And my grandfather was alive.
Green your favorite or blue?
Both.
Okay, what's your favorite? Oh, okay.
Two of my most favorite ones are green.
Blue and green are my two favorites too.
Oh, look at that! It's one of my favorite clothes. Up there! Green, green, green!
That was it.
When are you turning 5? Next year? In the fall? Say, Elise.
I'm already 5.
You're already 5? I missed your birthday. Oh my gosh. Did you have a puppy or a pinata? Well, my nephew Avi is turning 5, and I think he's going to want a pinata. It's kind of, you hang it from a tree and it has candy inside.
Oh, I know.
You know those
But
ones?
how you hit that?
You have to find an old stick in the garage.
Pretend like I'm doing it.
All right, be careful.
Can you tell me where to be?
All right, it's right here. Spin once.
I got it.
You got it. Here's all the candy.
Now where?
Well,
How about that? At my feet. But I want let me go to my house.
just be a little gentle with your arms.
Bang!
No, that's all. You're good otherwise.
Aha! Aha!
I think we're going to try to sing in the Yeah, exactly.
Major problem.
She needs to know.
That was
Look, I love that. That's
working
how it works.
90.
No, none of that. None of it is. You want to sit on the end here. We do not have to sit here. Just eat it very
Henry, come here. So yeah, we're going down this way.
I am not. I'm trying to
When we were there,
Hi, Paula. Shabbat Shalom. How are you? Great
Babies, that's always a good thing.
I didn't go last year I'm super I do not have any idea. A trial might have put that down there. That happens a lot.
You don't want the blue? I thought you wanted to try them.
So yes, I'm
and that's not the right way to ask it, but anyway.
I'm not surprised. Can they tell?
So we get some quarantine. You know, when everyone else is
Goodness, yes.
It's life, right?
Yeah,
I haven't said mazel tov yet. Mazel tov.
This woman looks very familiar.
But I will be
Do you like seeds? There's something like that.
I was just hearing about your I just had another set of friends who did they went to see the
I think it's very grounded. You know, both
Well, that's Prague. And my favorite thing about Prague, though, is all the roller
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is such a pleasure to see you out here tonight. How fun it is. On this beautiful night, we have people joining us here in person. We have people present with us online, and we are so happy to be here with you all. If you're with us online, please note the boxes or note the links where we have our prayer book listed there. And we have a program tonight. I hope people have their own prayer books here tonight, our special Friday evening prayer book, and the program, because it has some things in it that we'll need later on. So please join us for this beautiful evening of Shabbat worship.
We'll start with a melody that belongs to this season of the month of Elul.
Welcome to our sanctuary that is outdoors. The word sanctuary means a place where we find shelter, a place that is holy. The word sanctus comes from that, isn't that word sanctuary? So this shelter, this sanctuary, this community that we build together, even though we're outdoors, can be a quiet place, it can be a holy place, it can be a beautiful place. And whether you are looking at the reflection of the Arboretum or you even see the Arboretum, you see two of the peaceful expressions on the faces of those around us. And we know that on this night, we have the ability to make our night so beautiful. I would like to call your attention to some very important sounds, however, that we'd like to now present to you. Tekiah, Shivarim, Teruah, Tekiah. We are in this month of Elul. It is a time to hear the shofar. It is a time to begin that look inside. And whether it is here in a community, when we begin to think about ourselves, or whether we're at home with our friends, we're at school, we're at work, this is the time to pull inward and to begin to think how we can become better people in the year to come. We want to invite us all to turn to the supplement now in page 3 in the supplement.
During the month of Elul, it's customary to engage with, in some way, sometimes even recite daily, but at least to engage with during the course of the month, Psalm 27, starting with the beginning of Elul and going all the way through Simchat Torah, a psalm that is all about seeking a connection with the divine, seeking connection with something beyond ourselves. Achad sha'alti me'et Adonai ota bakesh. Achad sha'alti me'et Adonai ota bakesh. Shiti b'beit Adonai kol yemei chayai. Achad sha'alti me'et Adonai ota bakesh. Achad sha'alti me'et Adonai ota bakesh. Shiti b'beit Adonai kol yemei chayai. Lachazot b'noam Adonai ulevaker b'heichalo. Lachazot b'noam Adonai ulevaker b'heichalo.
The light of the day is descending, and yet we add light to this kahal, to this assembly tonight. On page 4, we read together at the top as we thank God for the blessings of light and offer then blessings over Shabbat candles. Please read with one another. May the rays of these candles cast their glow upon us and bring the radiance of joy to all who dwell in darkness. May our homes be blessed with the spirit of truth and our dear ones with the light of love. May all our days be filled with happiness and achievement, with peace and contentment, for us and for others, for our families and our friends, for all the people of the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'malikner v'tzivanu v'tzivanu v'malikner shel Shabbat shel Shabbat. Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat, of Shabbat. Also on page 4, we offer Shalom Aleichem. We greet the angels who have brought Shabbat to our presence. We thank them and we thank God for these blessings of rest that we can take advantage of. At the bottom of page 4, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hasharet. Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim. HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom. Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The melodies of Kabbalat Shabbat sometimes are new because some of us are new to this place, some of us are visitors in this place. So if some of these melodies are a little unfamiliar, listen carefully and you'll learn them because they tend to repeat a little bit. Because that's how we share community, we share melodies, we share words. I want to ask you now to turn to page 4 of the supplement because now we'll continue with Shalom, with Lecha Dodi there. We don't have the full text that we're doing tonight of Lecha Dodi, but yet another one of those melodies. You may have heard this before, even tonight. Lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Eslanu likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat ekabela. Eslanu likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat Nikapela Or Zachor V'Dibur Echad Anu El Hamyuchad Adai Echad Shmo Echad L'Shem U'Tiferet V'Livila Echad Udi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nikavela Echad Udi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nikavela Shabbat lehu necha ki mekol haberaka Rosh mikedem nesuka Sos ma'aseh b'machshava tefila Echad odi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nikavela Echad odi likrat kala Shabbat Ekabela Yamin U'Shmol Tifrotzi Ve'et Adonai Taritzi Hayadish Ben Parzi Ve'nislecha Ve'menagila Ve'chadli Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Ekabela invite you to turn to either toward the open door, which is to the east, or to the setting sun to the west, whatever you would prefer, as we sing the last verse of Lecha Dodi, reading the Shabbat. Shalom, Materet Ba'ala, Gam B'Simcha, B'Sola, Tochem Ulei, Am Segula, Roi Kala, Roi Hada, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nikavela, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nikavela. And on page 8 of the Siddur, on page 8 of our prayer book, we continue with, we conclude Kabbalat Shabbat with Tzadik Katamar, there just at the middle of the page, on page 8.
Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat Tzadik Katamar Yifra Ke'eretz Balanon Yitzkeh Shetuni Bebeit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenukum B'Seiva T'Shenim V'Rananim Iyu V'Hagi Yashar Adonai Tzuri Eloam Latabo.
You know, one of the most important things that we say at Rosh Hashanah and at Yom Kippur are the words, I'm sorry. And sometimes the words, I'm sorry, come too easily to our lips, and we haven't done the internal thinking about why we're sorry for doing something wrong. So these Shabbatot, these weeks prior to the beginning of the new year, give us the opportunity to begin to recognize where we had made mistakes in the previous year and where we think we can do better. So on this Shabbat, we understand maybe the hurt that we've caused others. We increase our openness to the criticism that we might have about having done wrong to others. And we look further inside to make sure we know that when we say, I'm sorry, that it's true and it comes in from the heart and it comes sincerely. We offer the words, I'm sorry, at the New Year time. Our service continues with Ma'ariv on page 10 of the prayer book, leading into Shema. We rise for Baruch Hu and then Shema.
Et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto leolam va'ed. Please be seated. We continue at the bottom of page 10 with this English version of Be'ahavta. Love Adonai your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down and when you rise, and when you rise. On page 13 is Michamocha at the top of the page. And as we sing this particular part of our worship, we think of the reasons and the benefits of freedom, the benefits of liberation. If we all feel that we are like captured or we are in narrow places, we have the ability to break out of those narrow places and yearn for freedom, attain freedom for ourselves, grant freedom for all other people, for as many people as we can in the world. So we offer Micha Mocha on page 13 as a reminder that we have the ability to bring freedom to so many people. Adonai Imo
Leolam,
Leolam
Amen.
Amen.
Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. ונאמר כי בדר אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. And on page 14 is Hashkivenu, this prayer that we say only in the evening as we seek God's protection at night and we ask God's guidance to make the world a better place when we rise tomorrow and make the world better. Page 14.
We'll be using the English for where it says version 2. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
In the book of Brachot, which is one of the books of the Talmud, the rabbis tell us that when we come to a time of worship, we need to be aware of three things sort of going on within us. One is a sense of loving kindness that we might bring to this place. That is, what can we offer to in the community? What can we offer to the community that's gathered here? Secondly is an appreciation of beauty. How beautiful is this place in which we are worshiping? This arboretum that we get to worship with every single week, actually. And how beautiful are the people around here. And also they say there needs to be a sense of trembling and a sense of awe. I think they would say not fear. I think they would say a sense of awe that we can worship. And then the rabbis say something interesting. They say, remember, it's not about us. They say it's about God. So when the rabbis of the Talmud say that, I think, well, I wonder what God thinks about in a time of prayer. If we think about beauty and loving kindness and awe, what does God bring to this time of prayer? The Maggid of Mezrich, who was one of our Hasidic masters, says this, that for us to consider God's needs at this time would be very important, because the Maggid of Mezrich would say, God is suffering because of all the problems of the world. And the Maggid of Mezrich would say that he hopes that we too are in pain because of all the deeds, of all the things that are happening in our world that need our correction and that need our involvement in correcting. Just some thoughts about prayer before we enter a time of prayer. On page 15, we rise together and we have the beginning of our tefillah with one another. Page 15, we invite you to rise.
Adonai
sifatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, V'zocher Masei Avot v'Imachot, Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah. And at the bottom of page 16. If you'd like, you may be seated. If you'd like to remain standing for the rest of the tefillah, you may. At the bottom of 16, we continue with Shalom Ra.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Nasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Nasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon bechol hashalom. Atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov b'einecha nevarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
We now offer time for silent prayer and meditation as we hear all the natural sounds of the world.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you. Adonai, my rock, my redeemer, my rock, my redeemer.
I'm told that in Morocco they used to tell this story. So it's a Moroccan tale. One time there were two merchants, one whose name was Uri, and Uri sold oil. And the oil would go to real lights, not battery operated.
Wait, so those are batteries?
These are batteries, yeah. They look real, don't they?
Actually, I knew they were batteries.
I had a feeling that you did. So Uri sold oil, and then there was Shalom. It might have been pronounced Shalom more properly in Fez, but Shalom sold spices, and they had shops right next to each other. If you knocked on the wall of one, you could hear it in the other shop. So one time it was that business wasn't so good for Shalom. And Shalom was sitting in his store, and he was not selling spices, even though he was supposed to be selling spices. Uri, on the other hand, was in his store, and he was selling oil. Of course, you need oil to see at night because people lit their lights at night. But at night, you cooked with spices, but you could deal without spices, but you couldn't deal without light. So Uri was doing a very brisk business in oil, and Shalom was getting not just jealous, but he was unhappy because he had no money. Talk about your economic problems, right? He had no money whatsoever coming in that day. At the end of the day, in fact, like Shalom didn't know what to do. And he heard something funny coming from the other side of the wall. And what he heard was this sound. What's this sound? What is that sound?
Money.
It's money, right. And Shalom didn't know what he was hearing, so there was actually a crack in the wall that neither of them knew about, but Shalom found out about it somehow. And he looked there, and he saw Uri counting coins. And Uri counted coins. Can you count with me? Can you say 1,
1,
2, 2, 3, right? 4. What's next? 5. Thank you. What's next after that? 6, right? 7, right? Theodore, what's next? Oh, sorry. What's next? Oh, okay. 8, good.
9,
9, what's last?
10.
Now, Uri didn't have 10 coins. He had 100 gold coins. And all the coins were sitting on the table, just sort of spread out all over the place. And, like, Uri did very well that day. And Shalom didn't do well at all. So Shalom not only was unhappy and jealous, he was angry. And then he had an idea. And he called out, "Help, police! Somebody help me, I've been robbed of all my money." And he ran out of his store and he said, "Help, police, help me, somebody have robbed me of all my money." And all the people from the little town came gathered around and said, "What's the matter?" And Shalom said, "Uri took all my money. Look at him, he's got all that money in his shop. And we need to get that because that's really my money. He came and stole it while I was taking a break." And so the police came and they arrested Uri. And of course, what did they do? They took all of the coins and they used them for evidence, right? So they took all the coins, as many as they could gather up, and they gathered up all of them because Shalom said that all of the coins were his and all of the coins needed to be returned. How do you solve that problem? So, the next day, Shalom and Uri were in court, and they were sitting before the judge, and she was very smart, but she couldn't figure this out because she heard Shalom say that Uri stole all his money, stole all the money, and Uri said, "This is my money. I earned this all by myself." And the judge of the court was pondered to herself, and she couldn't figure it out. So she said, "All right, I hear both of your arguments. Uri, I'm afraid you're going to have to spend the night in jail because the police, arrested you, but I need to figure this out." And so she then took a walk through the town. She had to figure out what to do. This problem really perplexed her. And she was focusing so heavily on this problem that she walked to where the school was, and in the school there were children. There were children maybe about the age of Henry. I think maybe they were Henry's age. About that. So Henry, you're what, 5?
Yeah.
So Henry's 5. So there might have been people your age too. You are what, 10? 6, sorry. Maybe there were people who were closer to 6 or 5, somewhere in there. But they were playing in the school ground, and what was really interesting was that the case of who stole the money, right? The case of who stole the money was very talked about all over town. Very fast, like news spread. And so the little children in the schoolyard, they were playing court. And there was a very big child who said, I'm the judge. And then there were other children who said, I'm Uri, and I'm Shalom. And I'm the police. They all loved being the police, of course, because we love the police. So, anyway, so they were there in the play yard, and the judge in the real court watched the children. And the judge said, look, I have a solution to this problem. Somebody bring me a pail of water. Why a pail of water? Somebody bring me a pail of water. So they brought the judge on the schoolyard a pail of water. Poor fly lost its life, I'm sorry. All right, well, we'll get him out of there, maybe sometime. They brought him a pail of water. Why do you think a pail of water? So the judge said, the child judge, right? I have an idea. I'm going to take all those coins and pour them into the water. And if oil floats to the top, we know that the oil merchant sold the coins. And if there's no oil, and maybe there's some spices on the top of the surface, maybe the spices will rise to the top. And so they did exactly that. They poured the coins into the water, and indeed there was oil floating at the top. There was oil floating at the top, or they pretended there was oil floating at the top. And the judge said, that's a very smart way. Maybe the same thing would happen there. So the judge next day returned to her courtroom, and she was presiding over this trial. And she did the very same thing. She took the coins, and she poured the coins into the water. And guess what came to the top? Oil came, in this case, oil came to the top. And therefore the judge knew that Shalom was not quite telling the truth, and Shalom was punished. So that's the story from Fez. Why do I tell this story on this night? Not to get my money wet. Money doesn't rust so often. But one thing is to think about how we solve problems. We also want to think about who we listen to. Do we listen to adults all the time, or sometimes we listen to the wisdom of children? Because the wisdom of children can really be very, very telling at any given time. And finally, the other reason why I tell this story is because I think about it this time of year, I think about the issue of judging. Because there's a judge in this story, there's a child judge in this story, and in this particular instance, this judge in the story was deciding a real life case, one in the story. But at the time of the Jewish New Year, we have to judge ourselves too. Some people believe that God judges us at this time. And some people believe that God is involved in the trial that we would have for ourselves. So at this time of year, there's a lot of judgment that goes on. So when we encounter that judgment, when we begin to look at ourselves, we think about what is the truth? How do we discern the truth? How do we listen to people who can tell us wisdom about the truth? And then what do we do about the truth? Shabbat Shalom. I want to invite the Dwyer Nunez family up here. The cantor and I would like to have a wonderful ceremony of celebration for the new arrival in your home. Well, I'm glad you're here, Henry. Great to see you. Wow. So we have a new arrival in your home. We have little Lila. So we welcome. Come over in here and stand in the center so we can see you, all of us, and so that we can see you online as well. Right? And so, this is the second or third time we've come together to name someone in your family. So we are here doing that. We have a little thing. If you would take one, and Cantor, thank you. That, and I'll take one in here. This is a secret thing here. I'll show you later. Will you read along with me, Henry? Okay. So Henry's going to read along with me. Okay. So this is really thanking God for the goodness of new life. What? Okay, if you like, whisper along with me, listen to what I say and say the same thing I say. And I'll point with my finger, okay? So this is our blessing for this new life we have here. Oh God, grateful for the gift of a new life, Catherine and Nicholas and their family have come into your sanctuary to give thanks and to voice the longings of their hearts in prayer. Give them the wisdom to teach their new daughter to be faithful to the heritage of the household of Israel, that she may grow up with the knowledge that you are always with her, guiding and sustaining her. Keep open the eyes of her spirit, that she may ever be conscious of the beauty and wonder of your world. Let her learn to love the goodness that is in humanity, so that she may nourish the goodness that has been implanted within her. Though none can escape pain and sorrow, we pray for courage to face evil, for the faith to transcend it, and the strength to subdue it. Henry, you're doing great. Grant her above all a loving heart, that she may live to do your will with faithfulness and joy. Now it's your parents' turn, okay?
Dear God, we come to you with deeply grateful hearts. By your help, the time of childbirth has passed, and by your loving kindness, we have been granted the gift of a new life, our daughter. Accept, O God, our thankful prayers, and help us to be worthy of the blessing you have given us. May we show our gratitude by showing our daughter the ways of righteousness and holiness. Teach us to guide and instruct her, that she may grow up to be a worthy member of humanity, a loyal and upstanding Jew, and a gracious and lovely person, proud of the heritage of our two families and their worthy successor.
Thank you. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, bless this new daughter of Israel with good health and length of days. May she be a source of joy and happiness to her parents. May she live to bring honor to the house of Israel, blessing to humankind, and glory to the name of God. In this place and in the presence of this congregation, we together confer upon this girl the name of Leah Peril Bat Peril Chaya, or in English, Lila Dwyer Nunez. May this name become honored and respected. We ask you, O God, to extend your loving care over this child, and in fact all the people in this beautiful household. Guard them from all evil, protect them from all harm, and give her the courage to face life's trials. Prosper the work of Lila's hands. Throughout her life, throughout the life of this whole family, may all of them merit the benefits of the benediction that we now bestow upon them and upon their friends and family and her parents. So we'll offer this in English. May God always bless you and protect you. May the light of heaven always shine down upon you and be gracious to you. May God always grant you the peace of the light of heaven to shine into your hearts and in your home, so that you receive the greatest of God's blessings, which is peace. And let us all say, Amen. So here's a certificate of naming for her.
What did it say her name is?
Leah Perel.
Leah Perel. And here's copies of this. In case you need another one. Mazel tov to you and your whole family. Thank family and friends for being here tonight.
We have a 2-year-old also. A loud one.
You should know, and then actually not.
We want to invite you now to turn to page 17 in the prayer book, because our service continues with prayers of healing and prayers of wholeness. There are people whom we can think of, and there are countless many more, who are ill on this night, who are suffering who may be in the hospital, who may be at home recuperating from illness or surgery, God willing, to think of them and their needs. There are almost 100 people on our healing listed temple, and there may be others, those whom you know about, who also could use a prayer of healing. If you know of someone who needs a prayer of healing and would like to be able to say that prayer tonight, we offer you the opportunity, if you want to share the name of your loved one with us, and then together we'll sing these words of Misha Beirach, beginning at the middle of page 17. But we'll start on this side of the sanctuary tonight, as we normally start on that side, but start over here, to tell us if you know of people who need our special prayers of healing and hope.
Probably better go and seek for him.
Are there other people we need to be thinking about in this night? Dear God, aloud and in our hearts we name those facing illness and pain. We join our prayers to the prayers of all who love them here on page 17.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Ishe berach imotenu mekor habracha lamotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We continue on page 18.
In a moment, we'll rise together and offer these words that come from an additional paragraph in Aleinu that we don't always recite together as a community. The words mean take to your heart. Adonai is God. Adonai hu Elohim. So we have the words in there. V'hashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim. And then very soon thereafter we say the words V'ne'emar, we say, and on that day, oh you, God, you shall be one, and your name shall be one, using the word echad. So we have in this series of texts the words Adonai, Elohim, which is similar to Eloheinu, and Echad. And I wonder, does anybody here know another prayer where we have the words Adonai, Elohim, Eloheinu, and Echad that we recited in our prayers tonight? I'm hearing a little bit of whispers. Shema, oh my goodness, yes, this Shema. That was great, thank you, Henry. So when we come to the end of our prayer, we're trying to take into our hearts the things that are most important from the worship that we've had together. And what could be more important to take into our hearts, this idea of radical oneness. The things that we think are separate are actually not. That people that we think we're separate from actually aren't. That we are connected to one another and to the divine, whatever is beyond ourselves. And on Shabbat, we have a taste. We get to have a taste of that oneness. And so we'll offer these words and we'll rise together. All you have to do is repeat after me. V'hashevota,
V'hashevota,
El levavecha, we remember those who have passed away. Those who passed away in the last 30 days, those whose Yahrzeit occur at this time, the anniversary of their passing, and those others whom we remember dearly who influence our lives in so many ways. If you are here tonight observing a Yahrzeit, or if you are in mourning, we invite you to rise as the name of your loved one is recited. These are these beautiful people whom we are remembering. The recent deaths confronting our community. A beloved member of our community, we remember Stephen Heilprin. We also remember Sally Jar, the stepmother of Herb Jar. Stacy Shapiro Sigmund, the wife of Tim Sigmund, the daughter of Mary and Lon Shapiro. Ed Marshall Jr., the father of Zane Chrysanthemum. Lonnie Beaver, the brother-in-law of Barbara Flock. And June Gronick, the stepmother of Nan Youngerman, step-grandmother of Rebecca Youngerman. And these are the Yahrzeit we remember at this time. We're thinking particularly tonight about Alma Anderson, Ted Aaron, Rose Bashkin, Max W. Bernstein, James Harold Davidson, Helmut Erlanger, Theodore H. Esser, Alan Etzkin, Dorothy Ethel Feitlinger, Harry A. Fine, Ann Fulton, Erwin A. Goodman, Florence Greenbaum Grossberg, Anita B. Harris, Joe Havens, Olive Herstand, Dorothy Krinsky, Diane Levin, Norman Levin, Rona Malofsky, Helen Miller, Miriam Obler, David Radbill, Jenny Raymer, Charlotte Schwartz, Harry Shapiro, Jerome Sinaiko, William Weiner, and Sylvia Yank, all of blessed memory. There may be other members of this worship community who are remembering someone, and if you have someone you'd like to add to our Kaddish list, we invite you to do so. Zichronam livracha, may all their memories be for blessings. We continue together now with the Mourner's Kaddish on page 20. We invite you to rise and recite these words of praise of God with one another. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha v'reichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Please be seated, everyone. The service is about to conclude, and when it does, we have some more food left over there. We'll say briefly Kiddush and Motzi at the end, and then people can enjoy the beautiful evening with friends or family or by themselves, however you choose to spend on this beautiful evening. First of all, we would sincerely like to thank Kate Dwyer Nunez and Nick Nunez. Where did they go? There they are. For sponsoring our pre-Shabbat Nash here for tonight. We thank you very much for your hospitality, and again, Mazal Tov to you on this new part of Lila, this new part of your home. I want to thank Henry and Laura for their participation in the story tonight. You all didn't know that you would be participating in tonight, but we do thank you and appreciate your being here so you could add to our story. I want to thank you all for being part of this congregation tonight. Thank you to Stephanie Kushner, our executive director, who greeted everybody here as you came in. A few brief COVID announcements. Inside the building, of course, we strongly encourage the wearing of masks for all worship events and meetings. Vaccinations and boosters are strongly recommended for anyone age 6 months and above who is eligible, as well as the new boosters that will soon be available that have been approved by the FDA and the CDC. By the way, if you want to sign our contact tracing form, it's on that round table now. Before you leave, if anybody reports to us, and this includes you too, if you report to us that we appreciate you would, if you come down or you are diagnosed with COVID in the next 5 days. Because if anyone is diagnosed with COVID 5 days after this worship service, we'll let anybody who signs our contact tracing sheet know that. Just for your information, you should understand what's happening. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock on Zoom and in person, your choice, there will be Torah study, now hybrid. Tomorrow will be led by Steve Olson. On Monday, September 5th, the office will be closed in observance of Labor Day. And this coming Thursday at 6:30 p.m., we are going as a Jewish community to the Forward Theater to see this new play called, well, it's not a new play, but the new play this season called The Wanderers. You can find out information about that. There's a link to purchase tickets on our website, if I'm not mistaken. Next Friday evening, worship will be at 7:30, and next Saturday morning, there will be 2 Torah study sessions, one at 9 o'clock, one at 10:30. You can check the website for information about that. On the back of the program, or somewhere in the program, on the back of the program is an important announcement about our endowment for spiritual leadership. And inside the program, there are 2 important announcements. One about our journey to Israel that is happening next June. And third, there is an announcement about the High Hole Welcome. Where did I put that? Can I see your program for a second? Thank you. So inside the program, there is an ad, for The Wanderers. There's an ad for the theater. I thought I had said so, but an ad for the play The Wanderers. Please join us for that as well. For any more information or register for any of these events, please go to tbemadison.org for information and for registration links. I think that's a lot. I think that's enough. Okay, we want to invite you now to turn to page 22 of the prayer book and to enjoy this beautiful breeze which has come up just now. So page 22, we continue, Cantor, with...
So again, we're going to be seeking throughout not only the coming Shabbat, but also all the days that follow, that sense of connection to something sacred, something beyond ourselves, whether that's loved ones in our family, beloved friends, or a sense of the divine. We want to try to be able to carry that presence with us. Guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
I wonder if we'll have Kiddush and then Motzi, but I wonder if I could invite Henry and Laura back up here for a second, because they may have to help out a little bit. But we want to invite you to turn to page 24 so that we can have kiddush and then motzi. Stand right for a second. Take a seat. Face that way.
On page 24. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei beri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'asei bereishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher yitziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat L'chaim.
And we have motzi for everyone. Laura and Henry are the first two to get challah, but we all say together the motzi that's here.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz
B'te'amo. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you all for being here.
Can we go back?
Where's challah? Would you like some challah here?
Well, they asked me if it's
Challah here. Shabbat Shalom. Have some challah. Got challah.
So you have any more questions?
You're welcome. Thank you. Challah. I should announce we have actually three options over there, but I don't have a wagon platter.